How have you seen inclusion positively impact individuals and communities in your experience?
When I started my career, I was a young engineer. I was the first engineer, female engineer in a gas distribution company in Brazil. Then I became the first president of the Association of Engineers in that company. Then I became the first CEO of an energy company in Brazil. So I was the first in many things. I was alone. There was not many women in my situation. And now we have founded NGOs dedicated to women leadership. We have so many movements to create awareness about female participation in the market, that now I see so many brilliant women, so many competent professionals. It's a sea change in terms of 40 years later, where it was before, or 40 years ago and what is now. Hundreds, thousands of females that are in leadership position. I'm very pleased to see that, actually.
Yeah, so I think that I'm quite fortunate, like being an architect working in the construction industry, you hear some absolute horror stories from women that are maybe in the generation before you, and especially like 2 generations ago in terms of like their experience going on construction sites, dealing with clients, their perception of them as an architect, whereas I think a lot of those women have done the hard work for me. So I think I've generally always had a really positive experience both working in architecture and in construction, and it's not felt to me like there's been the same obstacles that used to exist in the past. So I've had a really positive experience as a woman.
How can women in leadership positions inspire and empower others to foster a more inclusive environment?
Yeah, first of all, when we reach a stage of our career more mature, it's our obligation, our duty to help other women that are starting their careers to see the possibilities, that not everything is a glass ceiling, that you can pierce the glass ceiling and give an examples of career opportunities and mentoring, help women to understand how to navigate the business world and share our experience. And most of all, we can help them to also connect, because nowadays, if you want to pursue a career, particularly in business, that's my background, connectivity and knowing your business is very important. So by example, by mentoring, by being open, we can certainly help.
I think it's important that the emphasis isn't just placed on women. I think everyone working a leadership role has a responsibility towards everyone that works under them to foster an inclusive environment for everyone, male, female, any other needs that they have, to make sure that they are all given equal opportunity. And I think treating employees as it's a meritocracy, those who strive and do a good job, they're the ones that you're looking at to be the future leaders. I think it's important that they foster that sort of an environment.
Combination of both. First, women getting together, organize themselves and asking, requesting, and prove themselves as well, because it's not all about requesting. You have to prove yourself, you need to be competent in what you do, you have to be good in what you do. But at the same time, I think leadership, political leaderships, and leaderships in the business, you start to see, whoa, we are 50% of the population of the planet, why are we not represented in the workforce as well? So I think it was a combination of pulling from the bottom, from the top, and then we meet in the middle. Still a long way to go, because in some countries we don't have a participation as we wanted to. But I think leadership also understood that having women in the workforce, in the leadership, helps business. That's very important.
It's definitely easy to recognise that women are underserved, if you like, and underappreciated, unfortunately, across the board. I don't think that's unique to our industry, but I think it's actually something, sadly, it's almost like the social construct, isn't it? I think for years we've sort of neglected women, really, and their importance. But I think women everywhere, every day, are doing some amazing things, even where these actions are quite small, but they have a big impact for other people. I don't want to be one of these people who just say, oh, men have it easy, because I think everyone has their own challenge. But I do think that often they're taken more seriously, and the only way we can change that is by being the change you want to become. So, we will always represent Well, we have always represented people that we believe in rather than based on gender.
What is Artreach doing to educate the public around female artists?
I think mainly because we are driving our business, and hopefully, that is a good platform for us. But I think, as the public, is quite a public, in some instances, it can be a public position to be in because you're kind of always putting yourself out there. So on an individual level, hopefully, they'll see our role in what we're doing and that can be inspirational.
Now for a bit of fun. Name a woman, dead or alive, famous or not, who has inspired your professional journey and why.
I was going to answer Nelson Mandela, but he's not a woman, so I'm going to say Sister Dulce. I was a little kid in my hometown in Brazil, Salvador, Bahia, and Sister Dulce, she was a nun, and she started a charity work by treating ill people. Bahia is a very poor state. It's improved now quite a lot, but a lot of people with illness without private or public treatment. And then she started to take pity of the people ill, and she couldn't have the funds, so she created a small hospital in a chicken pen, in a hen pen. Start refurbish that and then get some donations, and it became now, after many years of sheer effort and contributions, one of the most important charities. They treat like 4,000 people per month in the poorest areas of Brazil. She's now the first saint of Brazil. She was canonized, she died many years ago, and she's the first saint of Brazil due to the selflessness for the work in favor of the poor people.
So a little bit cheesy, but probably my grandma. So I think with all these things, there's a huge focus on what you're doing in your professional life, but I think just as important is what you're doing outside of work. And she's just got a great attitude towards being kind, positive to everyone. And I think those lessons are just as applicable in work as they are in life.
So I am going to say Tracy Emin. I know, very, very famous, and it might be a bit obvious as well, but I think that the reason that I think she's so inspiring is not her artwork, but the fact that she's so bolshy and puts it out there. And also I think that she is a really good example of an artist that strikes conversation. So it's not necessarily about the artwork. And by the way, she can draw really well.
I'm inspired by kindness and the little things that everyday people do to really support and help others grow.